A young girl named Nora is shown at the start of the film story while climbing the mountains with her father. Nora's father thinks differently from the world, that if they will see from their heart, things will seem different. If we will see the mountains, we will see the things that are just in stories. Trolls are still present in the dark. They keep themselves hidden from the rest of the world. Nora's father told her a story many years ago that there were 13 trolls at a wedding who were drunk. They were unconscious and the time passed likewise. The sunlight fell on them and they turned into stones. Now they are in those mountains, stones. But Nora feels this is just a story because there were just mountains in front of her. Nora's father asks her to see from her heart and you will see trolls. Meanwhile, Nora sees a glimpse of trolls in mountains. Trolls look like humans but were huge in size and they weren't harmful to humans. The story moves further and now Nora has grown elder and was digging at a place with her team. They didn't find any precious thing during the digging. Her team was digging that place for 6 months but they didn't find any huge thing there. The team leader makes Nora understand that we should leave now. Nora still wants time because her father taught her to trust herself. She doesn't care about anyone and was digging. Then suddenly finds something huge. On the other side, the gunpowder was being filled in the mountains to be blasted because a station was made there. As the bombs blasted, there was a huge explosion and when the workers move inside to check, they see something coming to them. The workers were running being scared and to know this matter, the military commander arranges a meeting to which Nora was also invited. The Prime Minister's advisor welcomes Nora named Andreas. Huge footprints are shown. And the people sitting there believe that this will be a huge thing or maybe this happened because of a storm. Nora says clearly that these are the footprints but none was taking Nora's words seriously. Meanwhile, another girl arrives and shows them a video in which they see a huge thing. They all become surprised and scared that what is this thing. After it, an old couple is shown who were enjoying their evening tea. The old man sees his dog barking continuously. Meanwhile, their house starts shaking and the couple moves underground to escape and everything was shaking there. They come out after a while and they find their house destroyed. To know all this, Nora and Andreas was sent to them. On the way, Andreas asks Nora about her father and she tells her mother died many years ago but her father is alive and her father's thinking is different. Her father's thinking is different from this world. That's why he lives alone. Andreas tells Nora about himself that he wanted to be a writer. But he couldn't be, and while talking, they reach that old couple. They meet a captain who tells someone came while crossing the stream and went far toward the mountains. They found huge footprints at a distance of 3 kilometers and then the footprints disappeared. Nora reaches the old couple and the old lady tells Nora that she heard a strange voice like someone's crying and that was strange. But suddenly disappeared and how this huge thing can disappear suddenly. Hearing the laddie, Nora reaches her father with Andreas and the captain because her father has seen mountains so closely. None knows the mountains better than Nora's father. Nora reaches her father and there were many troll pictures in her house. Nora's father tells going on many years ago something came out of the mountains but it was difficult to prove it. At that time, the government has erased all the proof but then Nora says even today something come out of the mountains. Her father tells her many thousands of years ago trolls used to wander freely, that if any human has a relationship with trolls that human was given punishment. Many years ago the trolls came out and Nora's father discovered them but Nora's father was declared insane and was sent to the mental asylum. Later, Nora moves to that place with her father and the footprints were removed from there and Nora's father was staring the stones. Nora was standing with the captain and Andreas at a distance and watching her father on it. They were saying your father is not looking well and his mental condition isn't well. Nora also feels that her father has been lost in the stories, and she goes to her father and tries to make him understand. She feels a strange smell and there were black clouds suddenly, but when she turns around she sees an eye. There was a huge troll in real and it was standing in front of them. The captain takes all of them from there and moving from there they show this video in their camera to a military camp. None was believing on it and Nora's father was still talking about trolls, but none believes his stories. That's why he was thrown out from there. Here, Nora asks for time to understand everything, but the Prime Minister says we haven't much time for you to understand all this. We will wait for the time, but until you understand what is that thing will destroy us. The further task will be controlled by the military, and whatever that thing will be, it will be ended. Nora moves to the captain and asks him to take her with him and says, I want to go with you, but he wasn't allowed to take 3 of them with him. Even then, he agrees with Nora and the military tells them the troll's location. Later, they all reach there and the soldiers were sent there and they have to wait for the troll here. Nora's father apologizes to her because he didn't spend much time with her. She has spent a life as she has none in this world. Even her father was alive, but Nora says, I am not alone. My father is with me. After it, the troll arrives, but it stopped at its place because it discovered there are people in the surroundings and the captain orders to shoot at first sight, but that firing wasn't affecting the troll and it becomes furious. It was attacking them, due to which many soldiers were ended, but Andreas hid with Nora and her father behind a rock. There was a soldier with them who was Ulitz. That soldier while picking him up. Seeing this, Nora's father says the trolls recognize the Christians and can smell them. After it, they go in front of the troll and asks it to be calm and have courage, then asks it to stop. The surprising thing is that the troll was understanding him and it becomes calm. Meanwhile, a few soldiers were again attacking the troll and it again becomes furious, due to which it tends a few soldiers. The troll mistakenly ends Nora's father, but doing this, it expresses its sorrow and leaves while seeing Nora's father. It was a strange thing, and Nora's father becomes injured and he was counting his last breath while saying royal palace and house and dies. After saying this, Nora has lost her father and now she has none in this world. The next day, the captain tells Nora there will be an air attack that will be harmful to them. Nora starts searching about trolls and discovers that trolls don't like the church bells. That's why they attack the church. Nora places all those clues in front and the captain was also supporting her. The commander gives Nora another chance while thinking about what Nora said, because if the trolls can be stopped to avoid destruction, it is a good thing. Nora's plan was to stop the troll while ringing the church bells, and Nora's this idea works. And when the troll hears the church bells, it couldn't bear them. It was breaking all the bells, and after it becomes out of control while hearing those bells. Due to it, a kid was about to lost her life, but the troll saves that kid and doesn't let anything happen to her. Everyone was surprised to see this, and then the troll it leaves. Nora's idea doesn't work, so she was thrown out of this mission, and the government thinks to attack the troll with a missile. The city was made vacant because of this. They will bear a lot of impairment after it. Andreas is shown going to drop Nora at home. Nora wasn't understanding where the troll will move now. Here, she remembers what her father said, who took Royal Palace's name while dying, and Nora decides to go there. Reaching there, she meets the chief minister of the king. He tells it was believed in the old era that if a king's house is made on another king's house, it is a good sign, and tells there was Troll's house before the palace and they were called the King of Mountains. They don't like the church bells. That's why the king ended all of them and left a boy alive. And that boy was sent to the darkness of the mountains while scaring him, so he will die there. That's why the troll wants to come here, as it awoke us to come back to its home. The minister shows him a few skeletons of trolls in the basement, and when Nora puts light on a skeleton, it becomes stone. Here, she remembers the story told by her father, what happened to the 13 trolls. When there was sunlight on them, they become stone. It was written in the stories that light is their enemy. If a sharp light falls on trolls, they turn into stones. Nora calls the captain and tells him her plan about how they can end the trolls so they will not bear a huge impairment. She asks him to come to an open field and asks him to arrange a huge solar system. Later, Nora and Andreas placed the skeleton of that boy in their car, the boy who was sent to the cave by the king because he scared him. It was a troll, so the giant troll will chase them, seeing it, and they can take it to the open field. There was an announcement on the radio that the missiles will be launched after a while, but Nora has to stop those missiles to make her plan successful. Andreas calls his companion so that she can hack the system. She does the same and hacks the system. The missiles were stopped, and the captain has also set the solar system. On another side, Nora and Andreas stand in that troll's way with that boy's skeleton. The troll moves behind them when it sees the skeleton, and Nora drives her car speedily, but when she stops her car suddenly, the skeleton falls down after it. The troll picks up the skeleton. It starts sweeping while seeing it, and Nora was also feeling its pain. The troll has none in the world, and it was alone. Meanwhile, the skeleton falls down and breaks. Now it becomes furious and moves behind Nora and Andreas. Nora was driving. They reach that field, and the troll was about to hold them, but Nora and Andreas jump from their car. The captain turns the solar system on in this field. On another side, it was discovered in the military camp that the missile system is hacked. They again activate the system, and the missiles were also launched. But when the commander discovers that there are soldiers, he stops the missiles to be launched. When there was a lot of light in the open field that fell on the troll, it starts screaming, and it was turning into stone gradually because it was feeling pain. It was weeping while screaming, and then Nora realizes they all are doing wrong there. Everything was snatched while landing them, even though they weren't dangerous to people. They are made by the nature and also have the right to stay alive. And she turns off the solar system and stands in front of the troll. She asks the troll to leave. She says to leave and move. She says to leave and move far and hide in the darkness again. They will end you. The troll was also understanding what Nora was saying, but it was too late, and the troll was changing into a rock. It becomes stone, and Nora feels bad that she couldn't save the troll. Well, the team of the military camp reaches there, and the Prime Minister says to Nora that her father's stories were true. Her father had always been telling the truth. Andreas resigns from his job and says, "I want to be a writer." Andreas inquires Nora if there are trolls in the mountains. Nora laughs and says that anything can happen. The world is vast. This concludes